The Aston Martin DB9 is a Grand Tourer first shown by Aston Martin at the 2003 Frankfurt Auto Show. Available both as a coupe and a convertible known as the Volante, the DB9 was the successor of the DB7. It was the first model built at Aston Martin's Gaydon facility. The DB9, designed by Callum and Henrik Fisker, is made largely of aluminium. The chassis is the VH platform, also found in the Aston Martin DBS. The engine, on the other hand, is the 6.0L V12 from the Aston Martin V12 Vanquish. The most recent Aston Martin has a top speed of 295 km/h and a 0 to 97 km/h time of 4.1 seconds. The DB9 is rated well by car critics, who appreciate the car's interior and exterior design. In spite of comments regarding the DB9's weaker engine and handling, reviewers liked the car's ride and driving experience. Some also held issue with the DB9's small rear seats, cargo space and poor sat-nav. The 2012 version has seen many improvements to the design, the engine and the overall driving experience. It now has the most powerful engine yet with peak power of 517 picoseconds and 620 nanometers of torque. It also comes with carbon ceramic brakes as standard. Aston Martin Racing has adapted the DB9 for sports car racing, producing the DBR9 for FIA GT1 and the DBRS9 for FIA GT3. These two cars are lightened DB9s. The interior features are removed and the aluminium body panels are replaced by carbon fiber panels. Additionally, engine has been tweaked in both the cars to produce more horsepower. The DBR9 has won in several events, including its debut event. Development and design: the DB9 was designed by Callum and Henrik Fisker, and was first revealed at the 2003 Frankfurt Auto Show. The moniker DB stems from the initials of David Brown, the owner of Aston Martin for a significant part of its history. Despite being the successor of the DB7, Aston Martin did not call the car the DB8 due to fears that the name would suggest that the car was equipped with only a V8 engine. The DB9 has a V12. It was also reported that Aston Martin believed that naming the car DB8 would indicate a gradual evolution and misrepresent the car. The DB9 is the first model to be built at Aston Martin's Gaydon facility in Warwickshire, England. In a 2007 interview, Aston Martin CEO driver Rick Bez stated that, though Aston Martin was traditionally a maker of more exclusive automobiles, he believed Aston Martin needed to be more visible and build more cars. At launch, Aston Martin planned to build between 1,400 and 1,500 DB9s per year. The DB9 was facelifted July 2008. This facelift was mainly the increase in engine power, to 350 kilowatts and a redesigned center console. Externally, the DB9 remained virtually unchanged. Interior: the DB9's interior is made with leather and walnut wood. In newer editions, the leather is additionally given hand-stitched accents and joins. On the dashboard, sat-nav and Bluetooth come standard. A Dolby Prologic sound system can be hooked up to satellite radio, a 6-CD changer, an iPod connector, a USB connector, or an auxiliary input jack. This sound system can be upgraded to a Bang & Olufsen stereo. The coupe comes standard with 2 front seats and rear seats. A seating package, which removes the back seats and replaces the front seats with lighter seats made of Kevlar and carbon fiber, can be chosen. The boot is 186,891 cm3 in the coupe or 135,921 cm3 in the Volante. Exterior: made to follow Aston's DB7 model, the DB9 is, according to Aston's initial press release, a contemporary version of classic DB design elements and characteristics. It retains the traditional Aston Martin grille and side strakes, and the design attempts to keep the line simple and refined. The boot of the car is pronounced, like that of the DB4 and DB5. At the front, DB9 is without a separate nose cone, and has no visible bumpers. The exterior skin is largely aluminium, though the front bumpers and bonnet are composite. For the 2013 model Eurovision, Aston made minor changes to the bodywork, including enlarging the recessed headlight clusters with xenon lights and LED daytime strips, widening the front splitter, updating the grille and side heat extractors, updating the LED rear lights with clear lenses and integrating a new rear spoiler with the boot lid. Engine. The Aston Martin DB9 was initially launched equipped with a 6.0L V12 engine, originally taken from its sister car, the V12 Vanquish. The engine provides 569 Nm of torque at 5,000 rpm and a maximum power of 456 PS at 6,000 rpm. The DB9 can accelerate from 0 to 97 km/h in 4.7 seconds and has a top speed of 299 km/h. The engine largely sits behind the front axle line to improve weight distribution. Changes to the engine for the 2013 model year DB9 increased the horsepower to 517 PS and torque to 620 Nm. The car's 0 to 97 km/h time decreased to 4.1 seconds and the new top speed is 295 km/h. The DB9 can be equipped with either a 6-speed conventional manual gearbox from Graziano or a 6-speed ZF automatic gearbox featuring paddle-operated semi-automatic mode. The automatic gearbox increases the 0 to 97 km/h time to 4.9 seconds. Though the top speed remains the same. The gearbox is rear-mounted and is driven by a carbon fiber tail shaft inside a cast aluminium torque tube. Chassis. The DB9 is the first Aston Martin model to be designed and developed on Ford's aluminium V8 platform, which also underpins Aston Martin's flagship DBS. The body structure is composed of aluminium and composites melded together by mechanically fixed self-piercing rivets and robotic-assisted adhesive bonding techniques. The bonded aluminium structure is claimed to possess more than double the torsional rigidity of its predecessors, despite being 25% lighter. The DB9 also contains anti-roll bars and double wishbone suspension, supported by coil springs. To keep the back end in control under heavy acceleration or braking, the rear suspension has additional anti-squat and anti-lift technology. The car also features 3 modes for the tuning: normal, for everyday use, sport, for more precise movement at the cost of ride comfort, and track, which furthers the effects of the sport setting. Wheels. The DB9 initially launched with 483 ohm wheels with a width of 216 ohm. These were later changed to 20 in wheels with widths of 216 ohm in the front and 279 ohm in the back. The tires are Pirelli P0 with codes of 245/35ZR20 and 295/30ZR20. The brakes are carbon ceramic with 6-piston calipers in the front and 4-piston calipers in the back. Variants. DB9 Volante. The Aston Martin DB9 Volante is the convertible version of the DB9 coupe. The chassis, though stiffer, uses the same base V8 platform. To protect occupants from rollovers, the Volante has strengthened the windshield pillars and added 2 pop-up hoops behind the rear seats. The hoops cannot be disabled and will break the car's rear window if deployed. In an effort to improve the Volante's ride while cruising, Aston Martin have softened the springs and lightened the anti-roll bars in the Volante, leading to a gentler suspension. The retractable roof of the Volante is made of folding fabric and takes 17 seconds to be put up or down. The Volante weighs 59 kilograms more than the coupe. The coupe and Volante both share the same semi-automatic and automatic gearboxes and engine. The car is limited to 266 km/h to retain the integrity of the roof. Like the coupe, the original Volante has 569 Nm of torque at 5,000 rpm and a maximum power of 456 PS at 6,000 rpm. The 0 to 97 km/h is slowed to 4.9 seconds due to the additional weight. On newer models, like the coupes, the Volante's horsepower and torque have increased to 517 PS and 620 Nm respectively. DB9LM. To commemorate Aston Martin's GT1 victory at the 2007 24 Hours of Le Mans, Aston Martin released the DB9LM in the first quarter of 2008. The DB9 LM comes standard with the DB9's optional sports pack and is only available as a semi-automatic coupe. The LM is painted Sarthe silver, named after the Circuit de la Sarthe, where Le Mans is run, and has red brake calipers, a chromed mesh grille, and a special black leather interior, with red stitching and the Le Mans track stitched on the central console. The car is also fitted with the DBS clear rear lights. Only 124 DB9 LMs were authorized, one per dealer. However, some dealers did not take their allocation, with the result that only 69 DB9 LMs were finally built by the factory. DB9 Carbon Black, Morning Frost, and Quantum Silver, following the success of several special edition models of other Aston Martin cars, like the V12 Vanquish Carbon Black and DBS Carbon Black, Aston Martin announced 3 special edition models of the DB9 in 2011, the DB9 Carbon Black, Morning Frost, and Quantum Silver. All 3 models are denoted by a sill plaque bearing their respective names. All 3 models have the same 6.0L V12 engine as the base DB9, which produces 477 PS. All 3 models are available both as a coupe and a Volante. The DB9 Carbon Black, as its name suggests, has a black paint finish and matching interior. This includes a black center console and interior door handles on the inside, and black grilles, a black tailpipe, and black 483 10-spoke wheels on the outside. The interior also has numerous add-ons to make the car more sporty, including silver stitching for the leather and a polished glass gear stick. The exhaust has been modified to create a different sound to add to the sporty feel. The Carbon Black is only available as a 6-speed semi-automatic. The DB9 Morning Frost's paint finish is a pearlescent white. However, on the inside, the Morning Frost is fitted with metallic bronze leather and a black center console and interior door handles. On the outside, the Morning Frost has silver 483 10-spoke wheels, silver brake calipers, and silver grilles. Like the Carbon Black, the DB9 Morning Frost has a 6-speed semi-automatic transmission. The DB9 Quantum Silver uses a silver paint scheme also found on the Aston Martin DBS in Quantum of Solace, hence its name. Inside, the Quantum Silver shares the black center console and leather. On the outside, it also has black grilles and 483 wheels. The Quantum Silver has the same semi-automatic transmission as its counterparts, and shares a modified sports exhaust with the Carbon Black. Motorsport. DBR9. The DB9 has been adapted for use in sports car racing by Aston Martin Racing, a collaboration between Aston Martin and ProDrive. Called the DBR9, the car debuted in 2005. It retains the DB9's 5.9L V12 engine basic parts, but the car has been extensively modified to decrease its weight as well as to improve performance. Most of the car's aluminium body panels have been converted into carbon fiber panels, and several external features, like a front splitter and a rear wing, have been added to increase the car's downforce. Inside, the DB9's interior has mostly been scrapped to save weight. Likewise, though the suspension's layout remains the same, it has been improved to racing specifications. The brakes are upgraded to Brembo carbon discs and 6-piston calipers. The transmission in the DBR9 is Xtrac 6-speed sequential manual, containing a Salisbury friction plate limited slip differential, and the prop shaft is also made of carbon fiber. The engine modifications allow the car to develop 634 PS and 746 Nm of torque. That power, in addition to the lost weight, allows the DBR9 can go from 0 to 161 km/h in 6.4 seconds. The DBR9 won in its debut at the 2005 12 Hours of Sebring, and has gone on to take wins in the American Le Mans Series, FIA GT Championship, as well as the 24 Hours of Le Mans. DBRS9. Aston Martin Racing also developed a different car following FIA GT3 regulations. Called the DBRS9, the car shares carbon fiber bodywork and the chassis and suspension layout of the DBR9. While the engine has also remained the same, it has been tuned to develop 527 PS. The DBRS9 can be equipped with either a 6-speed H-pattern gearbox or a 6-speed sequential box and has a 0 to 97 km/h time of 3.3 seconds and a top speed of 314 km/h. The DBRS9 competed in several endurance races, including the 24 Hours Na 1/4 Nürburgring, Spa 24 Hours, and Malaysia Merdeka endurance race. The car additionally raced in the FIA GT3 European Championship, for which it was designed before being replaced by a GT3 version of the V12 Vanquish in 2011. The DBRS9 was made available to consumers and included an adjustable driver's seat and steering. Reception. Car critics have generally rated the DB9 Coupe and Volante well, praising the car's luxurious interior and exterior design. On the British automotive show Top Gear, the DB9 is thought of highly. Notably, on the show's Cool Wall segment, the presenters called the DB9 too cool for the wall and gave it its own category, dubbed the DB9 Sub-Zero Fridge, a mini refrigerator containing the car's card. While reviewing the Volante, Richard Hammond called the interior of the DB9 one of the best known to man. He felt that the car was less stiff than the coupe, however, to the point that the car was wobbly. Both Edmunds.com and Road and Track critiqued the DB9 for not having as good handling as other sports cars, noting that the car isn't stiff enough. However, Edmunds noted that while the Mercedes-Benz SL600 and SL55 AMG were objectively better cars, the DB9 was more desirable. When compared directly against other cars, like the Porsche 911 Turbo S Cabriolet and the Ford GT, the DB9 was ranked poorly, though the reviewer noted that comparing it against faster cars highlighted its shortcomings. Likewise, when compared to the Bentley Continental GT, Mercedes-Benz CL600, and Ferrari 612 Scaglietti F1, the DB9 ranked poorly again, though reviewers said that despite its problems, the DB9 would be their personal choice. The issues with stiffness were largely fixed by later iterations of the DB9, however, as noted by Autoweek and Edmunds. The DB9's interior has been called regal and dazzling, with Edmunds saying, "Words like rich and crafted just don't cut it, though decadent and sculpted by the Almighty himself get close." Critics liked the comfort of the almost race car-like driver's seat. Reviewers complained about the back seats, however, with Forbes saying think of it more as a padded parcel shelf. Likewise, reviewers complained that the space for cargo was limited, though many quipped the small back seats could help hold luggage. Another common complaint was car's poor sat-nav system, which Automobile magazine called the car's Achilles heel, noting that selecting a route is painful at best. Newer models contain a much improved sat-nav system sourced from Garmin. References, notes. Bibliography. External links: Aston Martin DB9, a Euro official Aston Martin web page, Aston Martin DB9 at the Internet Movie Cars database.